I've got my Beatles shirt, so now I'm ready to teach Blackbird. You have to have your Beatles shirt if you want to teach Blackbird. I think we all understand that. But what if I told you you can play this entire song, Blackbird, only knowing two shapes for your fretting hand? And each one of those shapes only uses two fingers. So it's something like... And there's the one exception when you're about to go back to the beginning. And that's also the exception as to playing the entire song on the fifth string and second string. Just two strings. And there's also a little bit of strumming involved. But that's it. That's the whole song. Think it's not possible? Watch this. Blackbird sing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you're only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird sing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of a dark black night. Okay, so you can play Blackbird in open G with just those two shapes. Blackbird is one of those songs that I think are both simpler in open G and better for the typical guitarist. It's a more resonant tuning, sounds really nice, and provides a sort of safe string on top here, so you don't run into a completely dissonant string if you miss. Now I did make a simplification. I played take these broken wings and learn to fly, whereas the song generally goes according to a chromatic bass line. So if you listen to the White Album, you're going to hear, take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. Now, that requires one additional shape if you want to do it that way. There's a bit of a trade-off here. You jump around less with that additional shape, but you do have to learn that additional shape, which is like this. Index finger and pinky, 2 frets apart. So I'm going to put up a chart that you can look at which shows that shape if you want to do it this way. Well, now we're down to the famous strum. Sir Paul has done this a number of ways over, gosh, the decades that he's played it live. So it's understandable that it could vary quite a bit. I think confusion arises when he'll maybe go on a talk show and say, this is the way of doing it. Because people have heard lots of ways. On the White Album, it sounds like I just played, to my ear anyway. And the basic rhythm there is. But you have this second string also thrown in, and maybe overtones from the fourth string, which is muted. When you get back down here towards the nut, then you can widen it out a little and catch more like the fourth string. But up here it's basically pretty sparse, though on the White Album they make it sound like a guitar strumming. So here's the formula. The thumb is always hitting the fifth string on a quarter note, even if it's playing in an interval. Now between that and the next beat, there's a strum down and a strum up. Then again on the beat, and then there's a strum up and a strum down. So it's like, now I've seen Sir Paul use just the index finger to strum up and down. At other times it looks like he's using the thumb and forefinger. What's more comfortable for me is using the thumb and forefinger like this, or using mostly the thumb to strum up and down. Whatever works for you. Also, seeing how many versions there are out there of this, I don't think anybody would call the police if you left out a beat or left out half a strum, or simplified this a little bit. So maybe I think you can experiment with it and find what really works best for you. Now, how do you know when and where to use the shapes? There's the record, of course, but I am going to leave tabs on the description. Now, how many of us have heard this? That in between notes. I went back to the White Album and listened specifically for that, and so far as I can tell, it happens once, just the first in the entire song. I think a lot of us have active imaginations. We're so used to hearing Baroque guitar that we think we hear that note in between. On the other hand, I did see an interview where McCartney was holding the guitar, and offhandedly he did exactly that. So I don't know. I don't want to say anybody's wrong. So let's just say that I'm going to go by the White Album, and I don't think it's much of an issue. You can add that G string note in between if you want. That would be the open G string. And speaking of open G, I did put up a panel, if you saw it earlier in the video, that shows a keyboard with yellow dots for the notes that are open G tuning and blue dots for the notes that are standard tuning. I will eventually, if I haven't already, put up a video that addresses open G tuning. A little bit hesitant because there are 10,000 videos on open G tuning. I think everybody who's had 3 guitar lessons in their life has a video out on open G on YouTube. Otherwise, remember that it's easier to play Blackbird than to be a Blackbird. The scientific name for the English Blackbird is Turdus merula. Now, how would you like to go around your whole life being called Turdus? What's worse? What happens if your friends shorten it?